Picture this. Every 2 weeks before a release, a QA engineer sits down and manually runs the same 50 tests. Login works. Checkout works. Password reset works. 50 tests, about 2 minutes each. That is 100 minutes, nearly 2 hours, of clicking through the same flows, over and over, every single sprint. Now picture an automated test suite running those same 50 tests. 2.5 minutes. Same coverage. Same confidence. 97% faster. That is not a hypothetical. That is what automation actually does. And in this video, I am going to show you how to write your first automated test from zero in about 10 minutes. Before we write a single line, let's talk about the tool. We are using Playwright. If you have heard of Selenium, Cypress, or WebDriver.io, Playwright is in the same family. It drives a real browser, interacts with real UI elements, and verifies real behavior. But Playwright is the current industry standard for a reason. It is free and open source. It supports Chromium, Firefox, and WebKit out of the box. It has the best documentation of any test automation framework available today. And it has a feature that no other tool has matched: full isolation between tests, reliable weights built in by default, and a test generator that can watch you click through an app and write the test code for you. You do not need years of coding experience to get started. You need Node.js, a terminal, and 10 minutes. Let's go. Here is the setup, step by step. Step 1. Install Node.js. Go to Nodages.org, download the LTS version, and run the installer. When it's done, open a terminal and type node -- version. If you see a version number, you're good. Step 2. Create a new folder for your project and navigate into it. Step 3. Run this command npm init playwright at latest. Playwright's installer will walk you through a few questions. Choose TypeScript or JavaScript, either works, but JavaScript is easier if you are new to coding. Choose to install example tests when it asks. Let it install the browsers. This takes a minute but only happens once. When it finishes, your folder will contain a playwright.config.ts file and a tests folder with an example.spec.ts file already inside. Step 4. Open that example test file and read it. You will see something like this. Test has title home page, async function with page. Page.goto, some URL. Await expect page.get by role heading with name playwright. To be visible. Even without knowing TypeScript, you can read this. It goes to a URL. It finds a heading on the page. It asserts that the heading is visible. Step 5. Run it. Type npx playwright test in your terminal and press enter. Watch what happens. Playwright opens a browser. You can actually see it, navigates to the URL, checks for the heading, and reports the result. Pass. That is your first automated test running. You did not write it yet, but you ran it, and you understand what it does. That matters. Now let's write one from scratch. Create a new file in the tests folder, call it login.spec.js. Every Playwright test follows the same structure. You import test and expect from Playwright. You call test with a name and an async function that receives page. Inside that function, you write your test steps. Here are the 3 concepts you need to understand. Concept 1. Locators. A locator is how you tell Playwright which element on the page to interact with. The best locators are role-based. They find elements the same way a screen reader would. Page.get by role text box with name email finds an input field labeled email. Page.get by role button with name sign in finds the sign in button. Role-based locators are more resilient than CSS selectors because they survive visual redesigns as long as the label stays the same. Concept 2. Actions. Once you have a locator, you tell it what to do. Fill with a string types into an input. Click clicks a button or link. Select option selects from a drop-down. Most interactions you will ever need are covered by these three. Concept 3: Assertions. After your actions, you verify the result. Await expect page.get by text quote welcome back quote to be visible that asserts text appears on screen. Await expect page to have URL containing quote dashboard quote that asserts the page navigated correctly. Put it all together in your login test looks like this. Go to the login URL, fill the email field, fill the password field, click sign in, assert the dashboard heading is visible. 5 lines. Real browser. Real verification. That is a test case you designed in episode 3, now running automatically. Here is the most important thing I want you to take away from this video. Automation does not replace manual testing. It never will. And any QA engineer who tells you their job is at risk because of automation is confusing the tool with the job. Here is what automation actually does. It takes the repetitive, well-defined, already understood test cases, the ones where you already know exactly what should happen, and runs them reliably, fast, on every single build, without human effort. What it cannot do is notice that the new checkout flow feels confusing. It cannot observe that a loading spinner appears slightly out of place. It cannot follow a hunch that something feels off and dig until it finds the root cause. Those things require human judgment, curiosity, and domain knowledge. That is exploratory testing. And when you free yourself from spending 2 hours every sprint manually rerunning the same 50 regression tests, you have 2 hours to do the kind of testing that actually requires a human brain. Automation is a force multiplier. The QA engineers who master it do not do less testing. They do more of the right kind. Let's recap what you just learned. 1. Install Node.js and run npm init playwright at latest. 2. Playwright generates an example test you can run immediately with npx playwright test. 3. Every test has locators to find elements, actions to interact with them, and assertions to verify the outcome. 4. Role-based locators are your best friend, they find elements the way a screen reader does and survive redesigns. 5. Automation handles regression so you can focus on exploratory work. In the next video, we are going into API testing with Postman. No code required. You will learn how to test the layer between the frontend and the backend directly and why it catches bugs that UI tests never will. Subscribe so you don't miss it. And drop a comment. What is the first test you would automate on a project you work on right now? QA Career Lab. Because quality is not an accident. It is a practice.